ਲੱਗੀ ਸੂਬੇ ਦੀ ਕਚਹਿਰੀ ਚਾਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਖੜੇ ਵੈਰੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਨਾ ਹਾਰੀ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਨਾ ਹਾਰੀ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨੇ ਹਾਲ ਬੋਲ ਕੇ ਨੀਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੜ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਦੇ ਲਾਲ।
We're here today to, really get together and speak up for human rights in India. Bhai Gurbakh Singh Khalsa is a Sikh who's been on a hunger strike for 28 days now. As you can imagine, 28 days without food is amazing, and it's really terrible. He was taken to the hospital a few days ago. He was very near critical. He's come back and stood up for the human rights again. He's not giving up. He's only asking that prisoners who've completed their prison terms in Indian jail, Sikh prisoners, be released. He's being supported by human rights organizations throughout India, throughout the world. We're asking that the Indian government re-examine its policies because they have a tendency to arrest people, and sometimes they're never even presented before a judge. So you have cases where people are in jail for 14 years, never even knowing what the charges against them are. As you can well imagine, you can fabricate evidence, you can fabricate witnesses, who are paid off, and we're asking that they follow a more democratic rule. They're supposed to be the largest democracy in the world, but they're not demonstrating it. It's a very peaceful gathering in India right now. After his strike, 3 other Sikhs went on a hunger strike in Kashmir. In England, throughout England, there are youth, older people, everyday people who are now doing 24-hour hunger strikes. I myself went on a 36-hour hunger strike just to see what it feels like to go without food and to have that compassion for another human being who's in jail, who's been away from their family, who's been tortured, who's really been hurt, because torture is amazingly bad in India. They regularly torture people, especially minorities who are arrested and then held. Sometimes the families don't even know where they're being held. They could be held in a jail that's 100 miles away from their house, or it could be 50 miles, but they're not told where they are. They keep going to the lawyers, the judges. Sometimes they never even find out until people have totally disappeared. So this has been going on in India against the Sikhs since the 80s, 1984. In the 90s it was pretty bad. So now the Sikhs are saying, look, enough is enough. Can we please have our children back? Can you send them back to their homes? We're here to support them. This is an issue of just basic human rights that should be guaranteed to every human being. And in India, it's been violated, human rights are not just being violated of the Sikhs, but almost every other minority in India. And the world needs to wake up really and take notice, and we all need to stand up for human rights and justice.
My name is Dr. Amarjeet Singh, and I am visiting from Washington, D.C. I am the director of Khalistan Affairs Center, a Sikh group which has been lobbying for the last more than 20 years for the right of self-determination for the Sikh nation in South Asia, that is subcontinent.
It's my understanding that would mean Punjab or?
Yes, actually Punjab is the Sikh homeland, as almost there is like 25 million population in Punjab, out of which close to 17 million are Sikhs. And in 1947, when Britishers left South Asia, Sikhs were the third party to the negotiations for transfer of power. Hindus got India, Muslims got Pakistan, and Sikhs joined Indian Union on the assurances that their distinct religion, their language, their culture will be safeguarded under the constitutional provisions. But they found to their dismay during the Constituent Assembly discussions that even their religion has not been recognized as a separate religion, and that is clubbed under the Hindu clause. So that is why Sikh representatives in the Constituent Assembly refused to sign the draft of Indian Constitution. So fact of the matter is that de facto we may be under the Indian map, but de juris Sikhs have never accepted Indian Constitution or India as a country, as there is no recognition for our own faith. And from there, our struggle has begun since 1950s. Majority of the Sikhs live in Punjab. More than 4 million live outside Punjab. In Punjab, the oppression and repression full scale began after June 84. Indian Army attack on Golden Temple, Sanctum Sanctorum, and 37 other Sikh historical shrines. But in November 84, when Indira Gandhi was assassinated, the killing of Sikhs took place in more than 20 states of India. And present situation is that Sikh farmers are being uprooted from the state of Gujarat, where Narendra Modi killed thousands of Muslims in 2002. In UP, where the Sikhs cultivated lands after their hard work, they have been deprived of their lands, and so at other places. And there are some states of India like Haryana, Rajasthan, Himachal, where Sikh farmers can't go and buy land as they have put there as the domicile laws. So discrimination is almost all over India, but Punjab is certainly under Indian Army jackboot. They are not letting the Sikh youth take out processions. Even today, while we are talking here independently, we are protesting against the injustices against Sikhs in front of United Nations. In Punjab, this is not possible. The police comes, arrests, books them under breach of peace and all. So overall, the repression is all over India.
All right, go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself? And
Hi, I'm Jaspreet Kaur. I'm a legal fellow working with Voices for Freedom. We are a human rights group which is registered in India, and we work in New York as well. We actually provide legal aid back in India, Punjab. We fight against voice. We fight against oppression. We call it as we are the voice for the oppressed people. In past, we have done cases where we have hired attorneys who have filed cases against the perpetrators in 1984, the police department, the police officials. As far as the strike is concerned, when Mr. Gurbaksh Singh was arrested, Voices for Freedom started a petition online questioning the constitutionality of his arrest, the mechanism which was followed. My role as the legal attorney, I questioned two basic sections of criminal procedure code, and I highlighted, our organization actually highlighted the infringement of the fundamental rights of Mr. Gurbaksh Singh. The manner he was picked up, the manner he was forced, the manner he was thrown was against the judgments of Supreme Court. And with this online petition, while the petition was on, he was released. He was unconditionally released, actually. So now our organization have planned that we will go to the phase 2 of our campaign, and we will be taking cases for these Sikh prisoners and plan to do a public interest litigation in India. And if all the results in India are closed, we will come on the international frame and fight for their right to freedom of all the prisoners who have not been released. And all these long-term prisoners deserve freedom. So this is what we will be fighting for. Thank you.
the impression that most Americans have is that India, unlike, let's say, China or unlike Putin's Russia, is a country where there's constitutional rights and democratic freedoms and so on. What's the reality behind that perception?
Coming from, I grew up in India and I did my law school there, and coming from there, when I was there, I would say the same perspective. But now when you come outside, you could clearly see the difference. There is a difference making constitutional rights and fundamental rights and telling people that we give equal rights to minorities, which is not true. Because now if I come outside and I see in the West how they actually give rights, and in India they do not. Having, as I said earlier, the arrest of Gurbaksh Singh, forget about according to the minority right, morally it was wrong. It actually infringed his right, his basic fundamental rights. His Article 14 and Article 19 of the Indian Constitution were violated. The judgment, the direction given by Supreme Court of India, which is the highest court of India, was infringed by the protectors of law, which is the Punjab Police. Um, there is a difference. India has been playing, or they work under giving the condition of the biggest democracy of the world. But what do you call as biggest democracy, where half of the voters vote on the basis of religion, the other half of the voters vote on the basis of corruption, and the other half never vote? So none of the government in past years have been an extreme majority government. They have been most of them have been aligned governments in India, because each state votes for either given the religious majority or minority, or given under the corruption policies.